Is this how you want me to?
He has no right to put you down,
You are a liar.
but he loves me. He puts down your friends, family, your job.
Shut your mouth.
Bet he's asking where you are again. I better text him back. Otherwise he might get mad, right?
I wanted to surprise you.
Not sure he's safe? Talk to someone who can help.
Contrary to what is being said about you, Marie, that people want to believe that you're vindictive, you are an angry woman, very jealous, who just want to destroy the legislator's reputation, career. This is not who I'm meeting today. I am meeting a Marie that is compassionate, that is in love still with legislator Carrie Solages, that cares deeply about the father of her child, that wants to see him get help.
Exactly.
After all you've been through, and for you to talk like that, Marie, wow, you're an amazing woman. You're a courageous, amazing woman. Now, I want to get to that night with you.
Okay.
Do you remember the date that it happened in June? I know it was June.
It was
Was that June 21st?
20th going into the 21st.
Okay. It was a Tuesday or Wednesday, I think.
It was a Tuesday night
Going to a Wednesday. Because I remember hearing the news on Channel 12, the other channels, you know, and I was shocked in the morning and seeing the picture of him being handcuffed, taken away and all that.
Right.
Now, what happened that night?
So, around 10:30, 11 o'clock, we heard a banging on the door. Because, again, this is his home, our home. He has the keys. He comes in whenever he pleases, leaves whenever he pleases. But since he's been sleeping out with the side chick, I usually make sure that I put the chair behind the door as extra security, because I always say, well, when he comes in, I usually hear the chime, so I'm just like, okay, you know, it's him. But I never want to take that chance, because let's say somebody's breaking in, we hear the chime, assuming that it's him, and it's not. So I put the chair behind. When I see like a certain time passes by, he doesn't come, then I put the chair. So he couldn't come in. Divine was watching TV here. Gabe was upstairs. He was falling asleep.
You talking about through the back door?
No, the front door.
Oh, the front door.
The
Okay.
front door, through
Okay.
the front door.
Okay.
So my other son was already asleep, and I was actually washing clothes for my eldest, because he had just graduated, and it was part of his gift to send him away to camp. So Divine opened the door for him. Gabe heard the chime. He ran downstairs, you know, to play with his father, as they usually do. And around 11 o'clock, Kaya brought Gabe back upstairs. So Gabe was laying down. He was falling asleep. And maybe like 10, 15 minutes later, like he comes downstairs, I hear the back door open. We have two different chimes, one for the front, one for the back. I hear the back door close. Then maybe after like 5 minutes, I hear the door close again, and then I hear footsteps coming upstairs. And I was saying to myself, okay, why is he coming upstairs when Gabe is sleeping? I said, something's, you know, wrong. So he comes upstairs and he says to me,
Give me my shit. Give me my shit. Why'd you take my shit?
I wish you would.
I'm gonna
Come
fuck
here.
you up.
You're gonna fuck me up?
Watch.
Yeah, fuck me up. Fuck me up. Fuck me up. So I just looked at him, like straight in the eyes. I rolled my eyes and I kept watching television and folding my son's clothes. And he was like, oh, you're gonna fuck with me like that? Oh, really? You know what? I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm gonna fuck you up. And I said, oh, really? You're gonna fuck me up? Okay. Do what you gotta do. You're gonna fuck me up? I wish you would. I wish you would. So he leaves. He goes back downstairs. and I hear him rummaging through things, mumbling, mumbling like.
What was he looking for?
I'll tell you. So then he goes back outside. Then I hear him in his cars, looking in his cars. He goes through the front door, closes the front door, and I hear footsteps again upstairs. When he comes upstairs, he says, "Where's my weed? I know you have my weed."
Give me my stuff, my weed. Give it to me.
What the fuck would I need your weed for?
At that point, like he was like, like yelling at me, saying that. Gabe started like screaming because he was sleeping, and he was like, how do they say that, like surprised, he was like, ah, and he like clinged to me, and then I became very upset at that time. I was like, why the hell are you asking me for your weed? Like, do you know I smoke weed? Why the hell are you asking me for your weed? Why would you have your weed? Why don't you go ask your crackhead where your weed is, since you like spent like 3 or 4 days with her? Why are you sitting here asking me about your weed? He goes back downstairs. And again, I hear whoosh, 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 like plastic being moved around, door being open, all kinds of stuff going on. I'm just like, you know what? I'm not even going to deal with that. Still folding the clothes, trying to put Gabe back to sleep. Next thing I know, I hear screaming and yelling, and I'm like, oh my God.
What was that?
What's going on? What's going on? So I take the phone and I'm like, running downstairs, but I have it like on record. I'm like, oh my God, what? Because again, the person intentionally tells you, I'm going to F you up.
Okay.
And now I hear screaming. I'm like, okay, this is one of those incidents. I have to get this.
Okay.
Just in case something were to happen, right? So then I'm at the stairs, like almost halfway down. I'm like, why are you screaming at her? Why are you screaming at her? Because I realized he was screaming at Divine. So he's screaming at Divine. When he sees me, he's like, bitch, get the fuck out of my house, bitch. Get the fuck out of my house, bitch. Why the fuck did you guys put that? So he's screaming, and I'm still, although he's like looking at me, like screaming, I'm still saying to myself, like, why are you screaming at her?
Okay.
Again, she's only 14. Like, why are you screaming at her? Why are you screaming at her? So while he's screaming at me, calling me bitch, this, that, whatever.
So it was you he was saying, get the fuck out of the house?
He's looking at me saying these things, right? So I'm still coming down the stairs, like, why are you, screaming at her? Why are you screaming at her? Divine was like, don't talk to my mom like that. So he turns around. He turns around and he's like, in Divine's face, like, yelling at her, like in his face like that. And then I was just like, stop screaming at her. So I take the phone and I put it up. So he sees that I'm recording him and Divine. So then he turns around and he grabs the phone out of my right hand. Like he grabs the phone out of my right hand. He takes his hand, he puts it like around my neck and his shoulders like that, and he's like pushing me against the, like behind the door, like screaming in my face and calling me all kinds of names and this and that. And in the meantime, Divine, trying to defend me, like jumps on his back, get off my mom.
Right,
and he takes his arm, he goes like this. Like, and she, like falls back at that. And then when he turns around, he's like, coming at Divine. So at that point, I'm just like, oh my God, like, this is like outrageous.
This is serious.
So I open the door and I run outside. In the meantime, Gabe's already up, screaming all the way down the stairs. My other son is like up. So it's like chaos in the house.
Why are you yelling at her?
Who put that shit in the back?
Why are you yelling at her?
Why are you
yelling at her?
Get the fuck out of my house.
Why are you yelling at her? Do not sit there
Get the fuck
and
out of my
yell at my
house.
daughter.
Get the fuck out of here, you bitch. Get the fuck
Why
out of
are
my
you
house.
like that? Get the fuck out of my face. And stop yelling at her.
Really? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I go to the neighbor's house and I keep like banging. I'm like, help, Lana, help, and she opens the door. She's like, oh my God. And Gabe in the meantime is running in the street trying to come to me. The neighbor picks Gabe up. And her family's coming out, like they're watching what's going on. Divine in the meantime is like, you know what, this is like, too much and this and that, you're trying to ruin my life. This is what she's saying. And then she picks up the phone and she calls the cops.
911, operator 901. Where's the emergency?
127 Brymere.
Okay, what's going on there?
I'd like to order a pizza for delivery.
Ma'am, you've reached 911. This is an emergency line.
Large with half pepperoni, half mushroom.
You know you've called 911. This is an emergency
Do you
line.
know how long it'll be?
Okay, ma'am, is everything okay over there? Do you have an emergency or not?
Yes.
And you're unable to talk because...
Right.
Is there someone in the room with you? Just say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like I have an officer about a mile from your location. Are there any weapons in your house?
No.
Can you stay on the phone with me?
No. See you soon. Thank you.